Hi guys and girls, it's me Iain Myles here, the executive dating coach for calmerlifestyles.com. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than the usual because in today's video I'm going to center the conversation on language barriers when you're interacting with the opposite sex for that very first time. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about language barriers, but specifically I'm going to talk about how to communicate with women who are non-native speakers in your language, which in my case are the women who are not native speakers of the English language. Now, I know you might want to meet, you might want to date, and you want to end up with a woman who speaks your native language. I know that, and look, that is fine, and I completely understand that. And I'm not preaching for you to say, I don't know, change your life goals here. Certainly not. And you will get to hook up with these women who are native speakers too. But just hear me out here, as there are a whole host of benefits and skills to gain when interacting with non-native speakers. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this, so really open your mind just for a moment. But I must say though, I really could not care less if she speaks good English or not. You know, I really don't care, because if the girl's attractive, if she's energetic, and if she's nice, I just do not care. You know, I suppose I used to care more when I was much younger and, you know, when I was less experienced in terms of dating. But, you know, I suppose over time I became much more traveled in terms of dating women. And I saw more of the opposite sex, and I met many different types of women from many different types of cultures and backgrounds. And so I realized the important things to appreciate, which have nothing to do with, you know, the way she speaks. But look, let's not go too astray here. And look, I promise I will come back to this matter, perhaps say with Annabella Rose at Calmer Couch, as I could talk about this forever. So anyway, today's video will also include a piece of infield footage where I'm communicating, I'm attracting a girl who's a non-native speaker. Now I cold approach her right off the street and I get her onto a date with me, like, you know, just on that spot. And she was a really gorgeous girl and I was really attracted to her. So I really hope you enjoy the clip. But guys, before we get going though, I just want to remind you of my new book that I'd released a few weeks ago. Now it's called Social Anxiety, A Gentleman's Ultimate Guide and Cure for Approach Anxiety. And so, you know, as the title suggests, the book is all about anxieties and the pressures that a man faces, you know, when he's dating and when he's approaching those really gorgeous women for the very first time. And I have to say, what I love most about this book is the fact that I look at approach anxiety at so many different angles, from the scientific all the way to the practical. You know, why do I do this, you might ask? Well, it's so you get to see the full perspective from, you know, different viewpoints. And you see, the goal here is to really shift your reality when it comes to cold approaching women, and to really ease that pressure off from you when you talk to that beautiful girl for that very first time. Just, you know, in order to allow for better communication and therefore better success with women overall. And guys, as you can imagine, I'd spent a really long time writing this book, and I've poured into it all of my life's experiences on social anxiety too. So definitely check it out. And if you want to find out more, you can click on the link in the video's description right down below. And you can also click on the card right above and it will take you to my book. Okay, so I think it's about time that we have a look at the interaction of me and the girl that I approached on the street. So let's see how we got on together and let's see what we can learn from this. So stay tuned.
I think you look really nice, by the way.
Sorry?
I think you look really nice.
Oh, thank you.
I saw you walking past.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, am I talking fast?
Yeah, it's so bad.
Oh, it's Iain.
Iain.
Yeah, it's Iain.
Not easy.
Do you speak Spanish?
No.
A little bit of French?
Yeah, French, yeah. Good. Arabic and French. English, a little bit. And Spanish now.
I know Yalla.
Yalla.
Yeah.
Yalla, let's go. Let's go.
Do you use like WhatsApp?
212. Okay, you can just text me on WhatsApp.
Do you want to go for a quick coffee?
Okay.
Alright, Right, so I hope you liked that little piece of infield footage there, and I just wanted to show you this because, you know, the girl was clearly a non-native speaker of English. Okay, so this leads me on to my next point. Now, when you go out and when you start getting into this stuff, when you start approaching women for the very first time, you may come across various mental obstacles, or should I say, you know, you may develop various sort of limiting beliefs in relation to this, okay, and these will prevent you from taking action when you're there. Now, one of those beliefs may be in relation to the way in which the girl communicates. Okay, for example, if the girl's, say, a non-native speaker, just like the girl that I showed you in the footage, and if her language is, you know, not that good, you may find it difficult to engage with her. Now, it might be that, you know, she's new to the country, or, you know, she doesn't speak the language very well, and you may find it annoying and frustrating when you're not understood or when you can't understand her. I get it. And you may even feel like, you know, just giving up, and you slowly lose interest in that interaction. Now, frankly, this is absurd, especially when, you know, you're initially really attracted to that girl. And so the thought of, you know, just throwing in that towel, so to speak, is natural because you've grown up in a native land, and, you know, you've socialized with native speakers of your language too. So there is going to be a bit of a, you know, a linguistic and a cultural understanding in your interactions. However, when speaking to, say, a foreign girl, there's clearly a break and a misunderstanding. I mean, look, the reality is that when you live in a big city such as London, New York, or LA, you will come across a lot of foreign women, and they may not always be native speakers of the language. And look, that is something that you will just have to accept over time, and that shouldn't limit you from interacting with them in that very slightest. So what are the solutions? Well, you can't magically, you know, kick them all out, and you can't change the way they speak. So you need to just run with it. But you see, the main thing here is to just carry on and to be patient. Yes, you need to be patient, and be patient with her, and slow that conversation right down until, you know, you're both on that same page. Now, it can be difficult to be patient, especially when you're not understood, but be smart about it, guys. Look, ultimately, you're going to be hooking up with a beautiful girl, and you're not going to be debating with her when you're in bed together. But also, think about the advantages of it from a, say, personal development perspective too. You know, when you slow that conversation all the way down, you can think more about, you know, how you're saying things, and, you know, how you're actually positioning your body. And it's really good because you will have some breathing space, and you have some time to just, you know, compose yourself if you're feeling a little bit of anxiety. Now, look, I know what you're thinking. You probably can't be bothered to stick around and, you know, to be patient with her. However, that mindset is not a healthy one, and it's not going to serve you well. And trust me, it will limit you later on in all aspects of your life, be it dating or even in business too. So don't really think too much of it, and set your prejudices aside when you're speaking to her, and just be open-minded to it. I mean, I often interact with women from various different types of backgrounds and from various different types of ethnicities, and I must say I've learned so much, and it's almost like you're getting a free ticket ride around the world. It is truly time well spent. So definitely gravitate yourself towards those types of opportunities, and be patient, you know, when you're interacting with her. Now, just going back to what I said a moment ago about being patient, it's great because it gives you some space to maneuver. Okay, what I mean is it will allow you to kind of think about, you know, how you're communicating and just how you're coming across, which is really important for those guys who are just starting to get into this stuff for that very first time. Okay, so being patient will allow you to maintain much more eye contact with her, and, you know, when you're listening to her speak, or when you're communicating things slowly. Now, believe me, it will just come out. It will come out like that because you're focusing so much more. And you see, eye contact here really is important because it builds that connection with your lady. And typically, when a guy starts this for the very first time, he will have a tremendous amount of difficulty maintaining that eye contact because, you know, he will feel so nervous just being there. But without even him knowing it, his eye contact will waver so much, and the girl won't feel that she has a genuine connection with him. Now, when you get more and more experienced, your eye contact will start to improve, and you see, you will be sub-communicating so much more through your eyes. And it really is that gateway, and you can tell everything by the eyes. It's difficult to fake it too because, you know, your confidence and your fears are sub-communicated through your eyes. Now, just have a think about it, and have a think about, you know, when you speak to someone, or even when you're on a date with a girl, and just be aware of where you're looking and where your eye contact is. Now, you might find yourself looking away when you're about to speak if you're feeling a bit more anxious, but try to center your eyes throughout that entire interaction. And so, as I was talking about before, by slowing things all the way down too, you can actually make a conscious effort to maintain that better eye contact with your girl. Now, what I've observed is that she will have better eye contact with you too when she's trying to focus on you. So, you know, it will be so much easier for you to reciprocate that eye contact. Now, guys, I can't stress how important this is, because when you maintain that great eye contact, you will find that your speech will automatically improve too, because, you know, it's not going to allow you to look around, and it's not going to allow you to think too much, and you'll find that your speech will flow so much better. So definitely work on maintaining that eye contact with her, and, you know, work on it by slowing things down. So yeah, as you can see, there are a whole host of benefits that you can learn by engaging with women who are non-native speakers. And look, if you're a staunch conservative, but you're really into your personal development, then it would be foolish to disregard these chicks. Plus, guys, look, there are so many attractive foreign women too. I'm sorry, but it's true. And sometimes you come across them and it's like, oh my God, why haven't I traveled here before? I kind of never understood those guys who are just so adamant to stick to one stereotypical type of girl, like, you know, that blonde girl with blue eyes, for example, who speaks that same native language. And some of those guys would disregard anything else outright. It's just so narrow-minded and uncultured, and it's tasteless. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with that too. Everyone, I understand, everyone has a taste. However, when you do this stuff, and, you know, when you're in a big city, it's really going to limit you, and it's going to limit your development, and it's going to limit your kind of eventual success in the long run if you limit your pool of choice. Now, you don't need to stress about it, because, you know, you will meet that type of girl that you've always wanted. Trust me, you will. But you need to develop yourself first, and you need to be open to developing yourself and, you know, communicating before you can achieve that. Okay, and I've kind of gone astray a bit since the beginning of the video. So look, the key points here to remember is to be patient when you're meeting those non-native speakers, non-native girls, and just continue that interaction for as long as you can, and just see how it turns out. Okay, and based on this, remember, be aware of how you're sub-communicating. Be aware of how you position yourself and your body, and also think about your eye contact too. Okay, so you don't need to stare her down either, like, you know, that the Night King from the Game of Thrones. Just simply be aware of, you know, where you're looking when you're speaking, and even that will make a profound difference to the way in which you're communicating with her. Alright, so I hope you like the insights in my video today, and I hope it's given you some ideas when you're at, when you're about, and the ideas in which you can implement when you're interacting with women who are, say, non-native speakers of your native language. And guys, please do put your comments and put your thoughts on the topic in the comments section right down below, as I'm always curious to hear your voice on my videos too. Now guys, there will be many more videos of all sorts coming your way at Karma TV, so definitely stay tuned, as we've got so much in store for you. Also, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to support the cause by clicking on that subscribe button and turning on that little bell icon, which will ensure that you never ever miss anything from either myself or from the rest of the gang at Karma Lifestyles. So today you were joined by none other than Iain Myles, and I shall see you next time.